Watch this.
Wait. Hold up. Stop. Let's do this a little differently today. After all, it is KTVB's 70th anniversary, so let's start back at the beginning. Many of you may have noticed we already pay homage to our past here on the 208 with a legacy of logos, like the OG KTVB to the Bubble 7, bump in a news beat, update to a news center, add an Idaho at 5, the iconic Idaho's News Channel, to today's the 208.
Watch this.
So, welcome to celebrating 70 years of Treasure Valley broadcasting. And yep, it's here, a day 70 years in the making. You might have known it was coming because we've only mentioned it a couple thousand times over the last several months, but yes, it's here. Idaho's first television station went live for the very first time when Vern Moore stepped in front of a camera just after 2 p.m. on a Sunday in July 12th, 1953. Well, from the early days of KIDO TV to the current hot days of KTVB, whether you remember the Newsbeat days or you're just jumping in here with us in the 208, well, you can join in on the celebration down at the Grove Plaza at a Live After 5, where you can now see Joe Paris, Andrew Bartline, and I also see Carolyn Hawley, some other familial faces out there as well. Take it away, guys.
Yes, good evening, Brian Holmes. I'm with KTVB legend Carolyn Hawley. Carolyn, I have a question for you in just a second, but first, Brian, I just want everyone to see the folks here at a Live After 5. They're getting ready for some live music coming up here. You got the kids and the families playing in the fountain, and Carolyn, of course, it's a Live After 5. We absolutely love it all the time, but this week it's special. KTVB's 70th anniversary.
It is amazing. You think of what businesses have lasted 70 years. I mean, it's incredible. And you asked me, what do you think the key is to that? It's so hard to say, but to be honest with you, I think it's what our motto is, what our big poster is at the station, which is, you know, have the gold standard of journalism, gold standard of community service, gold standard of sales, do it right, commit to it, and we do it all for the viewers. We really, really do. But this is a unique place. We're very close to our viewerships, and we just want to invite you to come on down and have a party with us tonight.
See, Carolyn's a legend, so she knows the roads, and she knows, you know, everything that's led to the 70th anniversary. And when she and I were talking, it's about the people. The people in this community, it's different.
It is so different. I can't tell you enough. If you are new to the community, you probably know that, wow, the reporters and the anchors, they really feel the news that they deliver to you. It's because we live it. You live it, right?
Yeah,
you're here. You're paying taxes. You're at the grocery store. You're playing. It's not pickleball. What do you play?
I don't know.
Is it bowling?
We got I don't have the bowling shirt on. I got the golf shirt on.
We're part of your community, and it's just very unique. I'm so glad you've come to spend your time with us, Joe.
Well, it's a privilege to be part of Idaho's News Channel 7. And, you know, I was actually talking to one of your old friends this week, Rick Lance, and we were talking about, the truth is, Rick is the longest tenured KTVB employee ever. I mean, do you remember working with him, at the beginning of your career?
I certainly do, and it's got to be early 80s, I'm thinking, and look at Rick. He's still there every night at 10 for you, so good for him. You know what, there's something about being part of Channel 7, you never let go of it. And that tells you how special it is, and that's probably another reason, part of the glue, that we've lasted for 70 years, and we're going to last for a lot longer.
All right, so we were talking in the office. We know Rick's the longest tenured employee. We wanted to have him sit down with the newest tenured employee. That's our Hector. And we're going to actually go to a conversation with Rick and Hector right now, just as they compare and contrast their time at KTVB.
Hey, by the way, Hector, my name's Rick.
Hi, Hector.
He
nice
is so new. I had to introduce myself to him right away. My name's Rick Lance. I've been working here since January of 1983, so it's going on 40 and a half years. Longer than this guy's been around.
I'm Hector Mendoza, and I've been working here since June of this year, so about a little over a month now.
What was your first day of work like here at Channel 7?
First day was very, very simple, and I took the place of a fellow who was just so skinny. And when they'd zoom in real close because he was so skinny, you know, he had one of those skinny faces. Well, I don't. You know, and so what happened was they took the same shots, and I remember being upset after the first show because my whole head was right there in the whole size of the TV. I thought it looked really, really goofy. Anyway, we finally got those shots set out, but the thing was the weather was just so much different back at that time. We didn't have computers. Fortunately, we had air conditioning.
Well, I mean, it was a little different from my old station, but it was a lot of training, a lot of getting to know people and getting used to some of the cameras here. And now technology is so advanced that there's so many different cameras and angles and different things you can do. So it was just me adapting to just kind of the software we're using here and just different cameras and the IFB. A lot of people were surprised that I was, you know, so unfamiliar with an IFB, but that was all new technology to me. So
Sure. How about the big green wall?
that was huge. That I've never seen a green wall that big before, so that was kind of intimidating. But I'm a little more comfortable in front of it. But yeah, it's a lot of training my first day.
I'm trying to think, we've been using that wall for probably about 30 years now.
So you predate it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I predate everything.
When you picked out the tie this morning, what were you thinking?
I noticed the same thing. I was like, we have the same sort of design, just different colors. I don't know. I'm a huge tie guy, so I
really?
like different types of stuff, vintage stuff, and stuff that kind of my dad used to wear. So these are just kind of like throwbacks to kind of what my dad used to wear when we used to go to church and stuff like that. So I like these types of ties.
Rick, if you had advice to give yourself on your first day at Channel 7, what would it have been?
You know, just relax, enjoy it. And I would think that probably the same thing for Hector too. Doing weather here in the Boise area is fantastic. It's just the greatest thing ever. The people are just great and they work along with you. We got a lot of nice thoughts that come out from Facebook and stuff like that. So just don't get discouraged. Enjoy the people, enjoy Boise.
So from Rick to Hector to everybody in between, the KTVB 70th anniversary celebration encapsulates just so much. And of course, we're hanging out here on the Grove. We got the Channel 7 crew out here, all your favorite familiar faces down right here in the heart of downtown Boise. And Brian, what a celebration it is. I know that you're waiting to get down here to jump into the splash pad.
Absolutely, because we're going to have to, because it's nearly 100 degrees. Rick just said the weather's great, but it's also hot this time of year. So yeah, looking forward to that fountain down there. And the 70th celebration continues. Stick around right after this.
First of all, Channel 7, professional. We knew when we were interacting with the reporters that it was going to be professional coverage. The faces may have changed, but I think that the commitment to the community, and once again, that commitment to professionalism, that is a through line.
The Newsbeat 7 Evening Report. This is Newsbeat 7, the news source, prepared each day by Idaho's largest television news staff.
Turn to the News Center 7 Evening Report each weekday at 6 o'clock.
For complete coverage, turn to News Center 7, Idaho's news channel.
I love those old promos, really see how far we've come over these years. Okay, so for months leading up to this day, we have been sharing stories and pictures of KTVB's 70 years. From the first building and tower that was built in the Boise foothills to the old shows that were taped right here in the studio and up there on the hill, to the league night at the bowling alley, to celebrities of all kinds showing up in town, also to the cheesiest promo pics from the 1970s. That one, yeah. Well, one picture we've shown a couple of times garnered this voicemail to the newsroom.
Yes, this is Robert Coulter. I used to work at the TV station when it was first built up on the mountain. I have a picture of me at a camera that you show quite often.
Well, we also have that picture Robert has just saw, and that picture was taken the day KTVB, or back then, KIDO TV, went on the air. In fact, it was taken the moment before they hit the switch, sending the signal out to the Treasure Valley for the very first time. So you better believe we called Robert Coulter back and invited him to tell us the story of how he ended up in that depiction of KTVB's moment of inception. What do you see when you see that picture?
A lot of good memories.
There's a lot Robert Coulter still recognizes.
That was Vern Moore I saw.
Yeah, that is Vern Moore.
He was our main news announcer back in those days.
Those days were some of Robert's first days in television.
And I watched him put that tower together.
The early days of KIDO TV.
Yeah, now see, these are the controllers for the two cameras.
Okay.
And where that person is sitting down there is where I always sit.
But there's one picture from one day.
At Philo in Georgia.
That stands out.
Georgie was such a nice person.
Day one.
And the guy at the camera is me.
That one right there.
That's me.
Now 91, Robert still recalls, clear as day, that day.
Yes, it was July 12th.
70 years ago.
1953.
What were you doing in there? What were you doing?
Well, I was running the camera. That was a video camera.
And how Robert ended up running that video camera is a story that starts in Star.
I always loved to go to junkyards and pick up anything that people threw away. Things like clocks and telephones, radios. We didn't have TVs back in those days, but I would fix it and then give it away to anybody that wanted it.
After graduating high school, Robert went east.
Went to Idaho State University and took a year of engineering, and then I switched up to the VOTEC program, which had electronics training, and that's where I learned about television.
The spring semester of his junior year, on Crestline Drive in Boise, ground was being broken on the state's first television station, and they needed help getting it off the ground.
They had an ad in the paper for somebody, and I applied for the ad, and I got the job. And all I saw was just boxes and boxes of equipment that had never been opened up. So my job was to unpack all that, connect it up, test it out, run all the cables, put over 500 feet of coaxial cable in about 3 weeks.
Robert realized the size of his role when Georgia Davidson told him his deadline of Sunday, July 12th.
She set the date when she wanted it. And I talked to her, and she said, "That's when I want to go on the air." I said, "Oh man, that's really going to put a lot of burden, because I worked about 60 hours a week."
Wow.
Well, they didn't have anybody else to do it. And my pay for that week was $35.
On the day of first broadcast, Robert was ready in the control room as the 2 o'clock hour approached.
Normally I run the control board, but I went out to operate the camera, and Philo came up there, Georgia was there. They wanted to know what kind of an opening scene we should have, and I suggested, well, Georgia wanted to have it at a certain time, and so I said, well, let's take a picture of that. We had a clock mounted on the wall, and it came to watch the second hand come up, and boom, that's where we hit it. I was right there on it, taking the first pictures that went out on the air for the TV station.
So the first thing that went out over the air was a picture of a clock?
Yes.
From that moment in time,
just so many good memories I have of that place.
To 70 years later, Robert is still proud of his role in starting Idaho's News Channel 7.
Everything went pretty good. We had very few problems considering the magnitude of what we had to do with back in those days.
Back in those days. Well, think about that. The station went from groundbreaking in February of 1953 to on the air in July, in just 5 months. Robert, by the way, went back to finish school that fall and then came back after graduation to work here briefly before taking a job at what would become the Idaho National Laboratory. He also told us how in the early days they got network news in Boise. They would record on a 16mm film in Salt Lake City, then fly that film to Boise. And on that plane was a film processor. So it was developed en route. And then they would take it to the station, splice in the commercials, and voila. network news at 9 in Boise. By the way, in that picture, Philo Farnsworth, the guy that's credited with creating television while he was a high school student in Rigby, Idaho. He was here to start Channel 7, KIDO TV back then. Well, a lot has changed since Robert engineered the first broadcast for KTVB, including how we keep you informed, from those 15-minute network newsreels at first to now more than 5 hours scattered throughout the day. 30 of those minutes come in the form of the 208 here at 5 o'clock. And while it isn't what it used to be, the 5 o'clock half hour, it is a time slot that has always tried to be different.
Predated me, but I'm sure we're the first station to do 5 o'clock news.
Live from Idaho's News Channel, this is News Center 7's Idaho at 5. With Dee Sarton, Rick Lance with Idaho's weather, and Idaho Life reporter David Mills.
When we first started the 5 o'clock show, it was more of a low-key, not hard news. It was sort of filling in the blanks between hard news and anything else that we wanted to do.
So there were days when in the newsroom they'd say, this is an Idaho at 5 piece. And I would go, yes, because it was going to be fun. It would be a light feature.
We always kind of experimented with the 5 o'clock show.
This is Idaho's News Channel 7. Idaho at 5 starts now.
We would take Idaho at 5 on the road, right?
We're broadcasting live from 10 cities in 10 days.
My part in doing that was to go out on location and do weather from different areas from the state in one particular week.
We're at the Central Utility Plant here at Micron.
You know, we were in Coeur d'Alene, Kamiah, Wallace, all these places. So those days were really fun.
We were innovators.
I think we're gonna sag to the side, and then if you want to turn and show the
welcome back to KTVB's Platinum Anniversary, celebrating 70 years of broadcasting here in the Treasure Valley. The 2-8 dedicated today to that celebration. And Andrew Bartline and some other familiar faces possibly down at Alive After 5, where you can go and hang out with a whole lot of people, a whole lot of stuff going on down there. Andrew?
Yeah, well, we also met a super fan out here as well, Brian. There's a whole lot of people, but Dom stuck out to us. Dom is a super fan here for Channel 7, and I love the story. How did you even arrive at being such a big Channel 7 fan?
Well, I moved here in 2002, a month before you guys turned 49. And I was new to Boise, so I flipped to the dials. I came across what was then known as Idaho at 5, and I was just hooked, and I've been a fan ever since.
Well, I appreciate that, Dom. He's such a fan. He knows a lot of trivia, probably more than I do. He's going to spin the wheel here. Dom, give it a roll. Let's see what we land on. There's a lot of options. Every color corresponds to a specific question, and my guy Bradley is going to read us off the red question.
All right. The red question is, all right, this one's tough. Where was Channel 7's first studio? I'll give you some multiple choice. A, the Boise foothills. B, downtown Nampa. C, Boise High School. Or D, Ontario, Oregon.
A. It was A. Yeah.
That is correct.
The foothills. Let's go, Dom. Dom knows his stuff. He's going to get a prize, but he also has a fun story for us. There was a fountain outside where the studio is now.
When the studio was constructed in 1971, there were water fountains placed to the left of the studio, and those water fountains would spit out elaborate, patterns and things like that. Unfortunately, it was around the time that college pranks were becoming prevalent, and the legend goes that one day somebody dumped laundry detergent into the fountains, and the bubbles went clear across Fairview, and the fountains were unfortunately paved over thereafter.
Well, no bubbles out here today, but there's tons of beach balls. There's people having fun. We're fighting with the music, and I'm losing the ability to fight with them. I'm going to go enjoy it, Brian. I'm getting out of here. Back to you, my man.
Plenty of bubbles out there if you include your personality, Andrew. We'll be down there to see you soon as well. Can't wait to check it out because it is a party going on right now, and you can join us down there on the Grove Plaza. Goes till the rest of the evening. But thanks, Andrew.
Hey, Willard, I know it's spring and everything, but isn't it just a little too early to take off the toupee?
My earpiece fell out. I'm getting Channel 7 on this thing.
No, we're going to have these dorky looking off to the side shots that Dan Smead did for Channel 6.
Why are we Idaho's news channel? Actually, there are several reasons. For one thing, we're always on the go.
Yes, I've got to think. Gotta be Tom Brokaw here.
When Boise was in the construction all around town and you were waiting somewhere, we were the only station right beside the freeway in Boise, which means that we were first there.
Honey, can we sit down and chat about 7 days? Get your little glass of wine, because it's 10:30 Sunday night, the one we're talking about.
Yeah, then the wind kicks in.
I'll get a phone line in. Can you call me, okay?
We were always with the news, and we were presenting it to you as quickly and as reasonably as we could. That's why we're Idaho's news channel.
none of you reporters pull your punches. You ask tough questions, but they're fair. You may also go and ask others that may not agree with that, so that people can draw their own conclusions. I always appreciated that.
Former Governor Dirk Kempthorne. Enjoyed covering him over these last 2 decades or so of my career here at KTVB. Let's get to your comments. A couple of them sent in today, enjoying today's show, which I'm glad you have. This one is from Kathy in Boise, talking about Vern Moore. Didn't know this. Another interesting bit of info. Vern Moore was a Wake Island survivor. That's interesting. I did not know that. Nice being younger than the news station I watch. Happy anniversary. A lot of people asking where we can get this shirt. Well, good luck. I don't know if it's going to be available to the public or not, but I love it. And, well, I'll just take your envy for now. That's appreciative. Happy 70th. I turned 70 this year as well. It's a fantastic age. Here's to many more years. A couple people celebrating along with us. Happy birthday to you as well. And in celebration, let's go down to that celebration as we send it down to the Grove Plaza with the big old Circle 7 that matches the shirt. We want to know what's going on down there at the Grove. Joe and Doug and everyone else.
Thank you, guys. We're going to play another one off the record. So like I said, it comes out this Friday, but we threw our big release party shindig.
Everything's going to continue.
In downtown.
Live after 5. We got live music. We got the Channel 7 crew here. We got the water fountains. We got foods and drink. We got it all. But as we are celebrating 70 years of KTVB, we want you down here in the Grove Plaza. We have so much to celebrate over the last 70 years. Of course, all of our great familiar faces around here. Some newer like Rachel Garceau, some that you woke up for years, Maggie O'Mara. And then there's the faces you may not know like Angie Battle, who put all of this together. I can't hear what's going on down here, Brian, so I'm going to send it back to you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Of course, we couldn't be here without you, the viewers. Thank you very much. And here's to several more years. We'll see you down in the Grove.